Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my presentation. I wanted to talk to you guys about the future of our company, ABC Technology. And as I'm sure most of you realize, the price of oil is down significantly. And if we don't adapt as a company, or if the oil prices don't pick up soon, then we might not be in business next year. So what I'd like to propose is a solution to help us adapt as a company. The oil prediction models have shown that oil prices aren't going to reach the highs that they were for at least another decade. And as I'm sure you guys know, the big companies like Halliburton or Baker Hughes don't really have to worry about this. It's a small subcontracting companies like ours that get swallowed up in this process. And if we want to ensure our future as a company, we really need to act soon. And so what do we do? If we look at our budget, we'll see that about 42% of our income comes from research and development, which is a very large portion. So my proposal is to cut the projects in research and development that aren't making us any money, or that potentially won't make us any money. And according to the financial information, we need to cut our expenses by about 15%. If we do that, we can stay in business. And so the goal is to how are we going to cut our expenses by 15% without having to lay anybody off? How are we going to do this? So what I'm proposing is a reevaluation of research and development. So what I did for this project is I went through each project, every single project, and I went through each one, and we analyzed it, based on the price that we can charge per tool, based on the future orders we have, if there's, if it's not like optimization, if we're just actually in development for the tool, how long until the project is completed, overhead costs during this time. We evaluated all these things and determined how much money we could possibly make off each tool. So we took the 4 lowest scoring tools off this evaluation to analyze further. And so the 4 lowest were the vibration dampener, the turbine alternator, the pulsar, and of course the gamma ray tool. As I'm sure a lot of you guys know, because you work on these things, that they can get very expensive, and we don't exactly have a lot of orders coming for them. So let's take a look at this data. And as you can see in the slides, you can't see in the video, but you can see in the slides that the pulsar and turbine alternator make a good amount of money. They're already in development. We're just trying to fix little bugs with them here and there, and they go inside a lot of tool strings, so we use them a lot. We make a lot of money off of them. They're cheap to manufacture, and there's just a lot of orders for them. People need them everywhere. And if you look at the data, the gamma ray tool, it's right on the border. It's losing, according to our calculations, about $300,000. There's definitely a margin of error there between, so it could be breaking just about even, or it could be losing even just a little bit of more money. So it's not making any money. But if you look at the vibration dampener, it's losing $11.4 million every year. So, it seems pretty obvious that we have to cut that. And the main reason is we just don't have orders for it. And, it's a bigger tool. The companies that would use this are, like Middle Eastern countries where, you could put a 12-inch hole in the ground and it doesn't matter, but for some reason we're just not willing to work with those companies right now because of geopolitical reasons. So we don't have a good rapport with the Saudi Arabian companies. Most of our business, as you guys know, comes from Russia, and they, where they drill for oil in Russia is like the Sahara, the frozen tundra. So you can't, you just need smaller tools. It just doesn't work. So, we started developing this tool, and then tensions with Saudi Arabia and Iran just got really bad, and all our orders dried up. So, essentially we have this tool in development that nobody wants to buy. So it's not going to make us any money. And the costs are too high, and we just can't afford to continue this project. So therefore, it's my recommendation to just completely abandon this project. If for some reason tensions get better, and we can always go back to it. But for now, it would be best to just stop. And, what happens if we abandon this project? Will this really help? And so we crunched the numbers, and we analyzed the data, and we saw that, if we cut the project straight, we could cut our expenses by about 15%. And so our current budget is about $87 million a year, and that's unsustainable. 4 years ago, when the price of oil was $120 a barrel, that was great, but now it's not. and we just can't sustain it anymore. So if we abandon this project, we can cut our expenses to about $73,000 a year, which is still a little bit high, but it's manageable. And if we cut this project, we can also get rid of the project, but we can keep the employees, because we really want to avoid laying people off. And so if we free up this project, we could free up about a dozen technicians and engineers. We can put them on other projects that are making money, like the pulsar or the turbine alternator, and they could work on that and get those things out the door even faster and make us even more money. And so in conclusion, I would just like to say, by abandoning the vibration dampening project, we can cut our expenses by about 15%. We'll free up a dozen technicians and engineers to make more money on other jobs. And the truth is we're just not going to make it as a company if we don't do this.